Nurmagomedov is a rare fighter.
Nurmagomedov under the chin, there's the tap! Khabib Nurmagomedov, 28-0! The standard upon which all lightweights will be judged.
Not only has he won every single fight of his professional mixed martial arts career, he's won almost every single minute of every fight. You're talking about a guy who is the most violent man in the most violent sport in the world.
I want to mold him in everywhere, in my striking, in my wrestling. One more step to become most dominant fighter in UFC history.
Hey guys, welcome to our new podcast, the 4a's. I'm your host, Ali Makoti, and today we'll be hosting two amazing guests. But before I introduce them, I wanted to introduce my amazing professional, one of the most humble human beings that I've ever shared stories with, my friend Ahmed Makram.
Thank you, Koti. Okay, welcome everyone to the 4a's podcast. We would like to present two special guests. I'll be presenting one of them. Firstly, we have the amazing Secretary General for our school and one of the most ambitious persons I've ever seen in my entire life. Guys, please welcome Abdullah Afifi.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, of course, it's a pleasure.
And we'll be introducing our second guest, the man, the myth, the legend as I like to call him, the most athletic person that I've ever seen in my life. He exceeds my expectations whenever I have expectations for him. He is one of the greatest people that I've ever met in my life. He is one of the greatest athletes also. He is my friend, Adam Sharok.
Pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure to be with you, man.
Me too.
How are you? How are you good? Hi, how are you guys?
How are you guys?
I'm good. Life is good. We came a long way to attend this honorable, prestigious podcast.
That's great. We are
It's an
honored
honor.
to have you.
Well,
We
it's
are
something
honored.
I recognized on your name of the podcast, the 4a's. How did you guys come up with this name?
We actually came up with this name, me and my friend and co-host. We came up with, we had a brainstorming meeting to think about the podcast name. And the first thing that came into our minds, how could we combine us four with something that we all have in common?
First letter of our names.
Yeah, like just not our names, but something that represents us more. We're all having sheer indefatigability and like undertakes
Yes,
us.
like the top G.
Like the top G. We know this dad doesn't like us to mention it, but let's just skip that part. It's about our names, to be honest. we have nothing to say. It was about our names, and that's something that came to mind when we heard that we all share the same letter, the first letter. So we called it the 4a's, and that's something we're kind of proud of.
It's a creative name. That's
Yeah, and what not like a better way to host such a prestigious, like Abdullah said, like a prestigious podcast with Makati and you guys. It's an honor to share it with you two as our
It's
first.
an honor even to share.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So today we need to be speaking of such an amazing topic, guys. We have a topic that has never been discussed before between us four. We have something that has many champions and many things. Come on, your phone is just falling down on the ground. Look it up. And I would also like to share this moment to. I'd like to share this moment to introduce our great cameraman, Johnny. I know you can't see him, but we'll put a picture up here, anywhere on the screen.
We wouldn't be able to do it without him.
Yes,
Seriously.
he's actually been waiting for us for an hour to record this podcast, and thank him so much. So let's get back to our topic and congratulate Mr. Johnny for being our cameraman. That is something that we're very appreciative of.
Thank you.
So let us continue our topic. We're going to be speaking of the amazing, the unbelievable, I can't find enough words to describe such an amazing event and such an amazing legacy that has been remarkable for all the people that have been involved in such company and the sport. Today we'll be talking about the MMA and especially the UFC. So I had one question in mind before coming into this podcast that I wanted to share with my co-host and the special guest that we have right now. Who is the greatest MMA/UFC fighter that we have lived to see until now on planet Earth?
Well, in my opinion, I think Khabib is one of the greatest. The reason that I choose Khabib, because of his childhood, his father used to be in the army, and after that he used to train pro athletes, and he was very known for training these athletes and becoming one of the greatest in training and also in boxing. He also took his son Khabib and let him fight a bear while he was only 7 years old. That's something very unbelievable and
to be honest.
rare to find in most fighters.
I really agree with you. I find that very impressive. That someone who came from nothing and his upbringings are like from this, and then he turned out to be one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's great. Who do you think?
I totally agree with Khabib is like being the best, but I would like someone in the ring. Khabib is absolutely a monster in the ring. We all agree to that. But I'd like someone who has more knockouts, who is specialized in this area in knockouts and in punches.
Has that knockout power that nobody can.
Nobody
fight
has
against.
this knockout power like him. He has more knockouts than anyone. This fighter is seriously one of my personal best fighters that I would choose. It's Israel Adesanya. It has to go to him.
It's great.
Israel is a
It's
star.
It has to go to him.
He's a very solid fighter and he uses multiple ways of fighting to.
But there's a point I wanna address here. That Khabib, when he signed for the UFC, first time, he took down the record for the most takedowns in the fight, in 21 knockouts.
Well,
Takedowns.
21 takedowns.
Yes.
In how many fights?
29 fights.
29 fights. In
That's
that's
impressive.
amazing. That's
But
impressive.
Khabib is 29 and 0.
Yeah.
He didn't lose one fight.
And that's the record.
That's unbelievable.
That's the record.
That's why I agree with Khabib being the best in takedowns. But in knockouts, I'd have to go with Israel Adesanya. As Sharaki said, he has like 21 takedowns.
Yes,
I'd like someone who uses his punches, his knockouts more than just takedowns and locks.
You know what? That's absolutely right. But if you're talking about all of the divisions in the UFC, like you're talking about lightweight and middleweight and heavyweight, every single weight, everyone here knows that lightweight is the hardest weight to play in. You got fighters like Poirier, and you got Gaethje, and you got Charles Oliveira, and etc., etc. The list keeps going on and on. And to play in such a competitive weight as you see, it's truly hard that Khabib has pushed himself and become unbeaten in UFC.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, guys, I want to highlight we've seen multiple knockout punches from Khabib, but if they would have landed in the fights that he would have taken, like the one versus Conor McGregor, or let's take an example of Islam versus Oliveira that happened a couple of days ago. You can see when Islam was trained by Khabib, he had that knockout power. Even when he was trained by the greatest of all time, the greatest of all time knows the way to the knockout power. It's just only not on the ground and jiu-jitsu and all that things, but he has that knockout power in him. He has that mentality that they even if they suffer physically, mentally, they will get up and they will choke whoever is in front of them. They don't care who's the opponent, where they are, and they will kill whoever is in front of them. But at the same time, I wanted to highlight one thing. Guys, we have seen John Jones in the ring. He is a vicious and ferocious monster. You can put anyone in front of him. And I'm sure, I know he's been taking steroids and he's been out of the sport for a couple of months or a couple of years, but we can't disregard his presence in the UFC. He was one of the most vicious people on the planet Earth. And also I wanted to mention Francis Ngannou. We're missing a lot of people when we're speaking about the greatest of all time, but we have multiple names on the table. Conor McGregor, the best seller of all time. The UFC fans goat, I would say, in such a statement.
And he had actually a huge rivalry with Khabib.
It broke the internet.
It broke the world.
Literally. And Drake was covering.
Conor McGregor is actually, in his history, he's one of the best fighters.
That's true.
But Conor McGregor, for the past couple of years, he's been so bad. Yeah. Conor McGregor now is focusing on only making money for the fame, endorsements,
Yeah.
bringing in revenue. He doesn't even think about his career, his legacy. Now every time he fights, he gets knocked out or he gets injured. His fight with Gaethje, he got injured. Conor McGregor isn't as he used to be. But who was in my opinion, the most vicious in the ring? It's Khabib. It's gotta go to him. He doesn't drink, he doesn't party, he doesn't go out, he just stays and trains and workouts, eats.
He's a man of
Discipline.
He's
Yes,
a man of
exactly. This discipline and consistency.
I think, like I know he's Muslim and all, but the thing that keeps you fighting and the things that keeps you consistent and has that longevity in the ring and longevity even in life when you're disciplined to the point where you can do nothing. It's your discipline to the
I
point.
think also the point of consistency in becoming the greatest and becoming the best. He was the longest UFC lightweight champion, having held the title from
Sorry, we're cutting our podcast. We have a short advertisement break.
One of our 3 main sponsors that we would like to firstly thank Afifi Motors for sponsoring this video.
We're back. We had a little
Technical issue.
to be unspecific, but let's say the specifications of what happened. Our camera ran out. Our SD card was finished, and that's something we're not proud of. But we'll continue our podcast normally. Abdullah was.
I was stating about the discipline, and it's a quote I actually believe in.
Pass me the verb.
The quote speaks about the man that goes to the gym every day will always beat the man that doesn't go to the gym unless he feels like it. Discipline is always what makes you win in the world, whether it's working out, it's gym, it's fighting, it's in business. Consistency is what makes you win the war, what makes you win the battle.
Who is this quote from? I'm really interested.
Well, it's actually from an inspiring man.
If you say Andrew Tate, we're gonna lose words. We're shutting him
I
up.
can't say who it is, but all I can say is that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, said it, and he actually believes it.
We know who
He's
said it.
he's
but
also
I can't-
bald. He's also
I
bald.
can't say it. It's unknown.
It's
Okay,
unknown.
from an unknown person.
We'll keep it unknown.
Yes.
A mysterious man to be to be disregarded of the name. So
It's
let's
currently
continue.
banned of the social media.
Anyways,
Anyways, we don't want to get
We don't want to
banned.
talk about
We
it.
don't
We
want
don't
to get
wanna
banned.
talk
Okay.
So as you said, Abdullah, yes, consistency is key, and that's what you said, and that's what Khabib has been doing. He's been consistent, he's been disciplined. That's what his father taught. And as Makati stated, the fight like 5 days ago between Islam and Charles Oliveira for the championship, Khabib Khabib's father passed his discipline on to Khabib, and Khabib is passing it on to Islam. This shows that it runs in the blood, it runs in the family, and it shows how successful their ideology is. You guys get me?
Yeah, I get you totally. But I wanted to speak of something about Khabib. Guys, do you know that, for a matter of fact, that Khabib has suffered 2 ACL injuries back to back,
Yeah.
2 years in a row. Like the man had to stop UFC fighting for a year, and then come back, get injured again with ACL. The same problem comes to him again, and then he thought, and he gave his father his word, Dad, I need to retire. My body is not functioning well. My ACL keeps rupturing on me. I can't do this. His father told him, either you take the path that I've paved for you to fight in the UFC, or you retire and you will have no legacy. But once he had his mindset to see that he wants a legacy, he never backed down. And that is something that's a champion's mindset. I think no one in the sport has that. He has that killer instinct, that champion mentality that no one has besides him.
What do you expect from his father? His father made him fight a bear at 7 years old. What do you think when he gets to ACL?
That's actually, imagine like we're in Egypt and everything, and we're living our lives, and one of our fathers takes us out. Yeah, you're gonna fight a bear. Today you're gonna fight a bear. يلا يا ابني هنروح نمسك لنا بير في نص الفورست.
What can you say? The game, the sport has risks, and it's either you take it all of it with the risks, or you don't. The higher the risk, the higher the return.
Yeah.
And look at him, he's now the champion.
Yeah.
And he's retired, and he has never lost a professional fight in his life. This is a legacy
Phenomenal.
that
That's phenomenal,
I literally want for me and my children.
To die for it, actually.
I think also Khabib, as Makati said, as he injured and got injured, and his father told him to continue in his path, his mindset was to continue and not give up and have faith in God and continue pushing himself to be a better athlete and a better person. That's why he's one of the best. That's why he's the greatest.
Speaking of God and faith, he is the first UFC champion to be Muslim. But after him, it was like, a domino effect. Once a Muslim UFC champion came, there comes more. Like we have Kamaru Usman right now. He's Muslim and he's doing amazing things for the sport. Now we have also with a couple of days back, as I said first in the podcast, Charles Oliveira was beaten by Islam. Islam is also a Muslim champion right now. I think Islam is taking over, but
Muslims
slowly.
are taking over.
Yeah, we're taking
yeah,
over.
Muslims are
We-
taking
we
over.
have-
Let's go.
We have that killer instinct.
We have the
You see,
better
we
mindset.
have the discipline.
We have the better mindset of
Yes.
being better at everything because we have faith and we believe in
God.
something.
Yeah.
We believe
Yeah.
in our instincts, and we believe that we can do better and better.
That's true.
No, I want to say also something. Since we're talking about religion, when many people get famous, they change. Like they start, like McGregor, like as Abdullah said, McGregor changed when he got the money. Khabib stayed humble. He stayed in his own personality, and he was with his father's support, he was unstoppable. This shows that how much you get, how you still remember where you came from. You still remember that standards. That's something that I truly admire in Khabib.
Although he had the money and he started buying Dior suits and Ferrari cars.
Yeah, man, but
Yeah.
But
when you
guys,
look-
did you hear about the car crash of Khabib? Khabib's Mercedes AMG GT. While he was like training in California, in America, he got a gift in Russia, a car, a Mercedes AMG GT. It's a very expensive car, and while he was still in the States, he loaned out his car to one of his friends, and surprisingly he came back and he found that his car
His car
was
was
in a
totally
car
damaged.
into a pole.
Into
Yeah.
a pool.
Into a pole.
We
That's weird.
yeah, that's really.
Two times.
You know,
First time, but the driver didn't have like any major any incidents. But the second time it was also, but this time was a minor incident for the car. So his car crashed 2 times
You know,
because of his friend.
I know someone who crashed this car, but let's keep it a secret. Okay.
Hey, cameraman.
Yeah. We know. We know. Yeah. They will know. Everyone will know.
No.
We're gonna keep it as a secret, guys. We will not go into details about the crash, but let's keep let's keep our eyes on the prize and the topic. Who has any facts about Khabib? Like we have multiple facts that we know about him, about discipline and everything.
We're sorry to interrupt for the second time, but we would like to introduce our second sponsor.
Today we have Al Makati Dental Clinic. We're offering multiple dental procedures and surgeries, and we actually have a discount code, 10%, if you go to the reception and tell them you're with the 4a's podcast. Thank you.
I heard Sharaki was doing a very effective research about Khabib.
Yeah.
Well, I like to stock facts because it's true and it becomes more knowledgeable and more understandable for people to get familiar with Khabib and his legacy and how he became powerful and how he became one of the strongest. One of the things that I wanna, tell the people that Khabib, when his father died, he was tell the people that he couldn't continue because he wanted his father on his side, but because of that, because of his father passed away, he will not continue fighting and he will retire. But in my opinion, and I think Khabib will one day come back and be the champion once again.
I don't think.
I don't
so.
think he's gonna come back.
I don't think so.
Khabib isn't gonna come back from his retirement.
Look. When you think about it, when you lose someone this close to you, you had an amazing relationship with your father.
Your father and your coach at the same time.
He was everything for him.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more that he could do. He was his father figure.
He was the
his
perfect role model.
Yeah,
Was everything to
I
him.
can't see
He was
anything wrong.
an
in that
icon.
man. He was an icon of the game.
Mm.
He literally wasn't even known as a coach, wasn't known as a person. He became headlines when his son won. When he was known as the coach of Khabib Nurmagomedov, the champion of the UFC at the time.
Do you guys think that Khabib would be something without his father?
He built his legacy by using the help of his father, and till this day, everyone, till now, some people think that Khabib is one of the greatest.
Actually, I don't think he would have been like a champion. Maybe he would have been a champion in other aspects, but
Not
in
like
this
now.
in this career,
In this
there are
position.
certain careers that needs the parents
Support.
to put you on the path. For example, like F1 or UFC, the parents put you on the path from a very young age. UFC, I think he started when he was like 7, started wrestling bears. How could you think of that when you're just 7? You want to play with toys, you want to run, you want to eat chocolate. You don't get to this level unless your parents has put for you a journey so you could take,
And
so you could reach the destination you want.
And they are also pushing him to his limits.
Pushing him to be the
Yes.
greatest and be the best at the thing that he loves and the things he's passionate about.
That's great. That's honestly, I can't think. Without his father, he wouldn't have come this far into his career with winning multiple matches, 29 matches. When you guys think about it, imagine getting into the ring. I know 29 matches is when you look at it, it's not like it's 50 something compared to boxing. And Floyd has like 51 or 0 something like that. But when you look, Khabib was entertaining. Khabib wasn't only a fighter, was not a person who is hated for his personality. Khabib was a very humble man. When you speak to him outside the ring, he respects everyone. But once you disrespect him, you're gonna see a side. I think no one in the world wants to see Khabib.
Run.
Yeah. Not only you're gonna run, you will be amazed at how he will catch you and he will choke you to death. Like he will put you in a triangle. He will put you in a triangle lock until you're dead.
But let's just say that's how they raised in Russia.
Yeah.
In Russia, the parents are absolutely harsh, and I don't mean it like it's harsh that they abuse them and that, but they make them to become a better person and improve themselves in the best aspect, it's the fighting aspect.
نشفوهم in Arabic.
Guys, do you think I had something in my mind? Do you think he retired? Actually, do you think he retired because once his father passed away, and his mom told him not to fight again, but she was afraid for his life every time he went into the ring?
She was afraid not because of his life. She wanted always his father to be with him on his side, cheering him up, supporting.
We're now interrupting this video again to introduce our most important sponsor. Thank you Red Bull for sponsoring this video.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Motivation that he needs to keep moving forward. I don't think that anyone could give Khabib that kind of support and motivation like his father.
But honestly, when you think about it, like imagine you're a mother and your son goes into fight week or fight camp every six months or something, and goes into the ring multiple times in that fight camp, and he goes on and on fighting other people that they are strangers to you, and you're looking outside, oh my god, he's gonna get hurt. One time he's gonna get knocked out and he will be unconscious.
Yeah, he might suffer like an injury, for example, making him paralyzed or something like that, or the ACLs he got.
Khabib fought a bear.
Khabib, he stopped fighting, although because his mother told him, but his mother, before his dad died, of course she wasn't worried at all. As long as your father with you, you're gonna be calm. You're gonna be calm.
Understand your
it's
point.
in every family, in every single stereotype about family.
They had a test.
Exactly, but when the dad died, now he's gonna fight alone. He doesn't have any support. He doesn't have anyone from the family with him. That's why his mother starts telling him you have to stop fighting, because now she's getting worried, and on each fight he enters, she's worried about his life, about any injury that he might get. But with his father, no, she wasn't worried at all.
But I mean, he has everything, guys. His like net worth is like for how much? $40 million. Like from MMA, that's not as much as McGregor, like 300 million, but that's also something.
No, but McGregor has suffered outside the ring, the octagon. He went to the ring to fight Floyd Mayweather in the greatest, I think, one of the greatest.
Went out.
Yeah, one of the greatest fights of all time, and one of the most grossing fights of all time at the same time. When you look at Conor McGregor, yeah, he left a legacy, but it never comes when you think about it. Who left a better legacy?
Khabib.
No question.
A better impact in the human.
McGregor right now is actually focusing on the money and the whiskey business and
They say his whiskey
buying his Lamborghini.
I mean, they say his whiskey is
focusing more on
something.
On the
Guys, focus for a second. Something that we didn't mention when he was fighting Conor. The one thing that he kept on saying to the fans when they hated on him because he was a Muslim, he kept saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. He kept saying multiple times in the press conference and even after in the ring. Imagine having your opponent in a situation where you're on top of him physically and mentally in the ring, and you tell him.
Interrupting for our last sponsor,
NNC, National Navigation Company.
Let's talk now. Let's talk. Imagine if you're mounting someone and you're trying to hit him and he is just under your control, and you're telling him, talk to me now.
Yeah.
As a man, talk to me face to face.
Because McGregor, before that fight and years before, he was always picking on Khabib, and saying bad stuff about Islam and always
When he attacked his bus.
like his
Yeah.
brothers, yes.
Yeah, the fuse between them.
And that event or that thing that happened when he attacked this boss took the attention from Khabib winning his first Muslim title in the UFC.
Yeah, and when like Khabib, everyone knows that McGregor's such a trash talker, and his tactic is to get you like you get you in his mind. He plays the mind. Yes, he gets in.
Trash talk, trash talk,
Yeah,
trash
karma
Yes, that's
always
what-
knocks him out.
Yes.
When he fought Dustin Poirier like last summer, he got knocked out. His injury couldn't make him
Lost
like
two times.
continue.
What I don't like about Conor McGregor, he can't shut his mouth. Well, even when he's on the ground, he kept telling Dustin Poirier,
Your wife is
in my DMs, your wife is in my
Let's
DMs.
stick to the topic so this won't get banned. But yeah, like McGregor is such a trash talker. I respect his tactics, but sometimes he has taken it so far. And what Khabib did to him, he gave him a taste of his own medicine. As McCarthy said, while he was on the ground, Khabib gave him what he deserved.
Yeah.
He smashed him, like what Khabib says. He won, and he made the world know as how much Khabib is a great fighter, and he's a discipline. Shows that frauds like McGregor, what they have been doing, that it's fake.
We're back. We had an interruption by Sharaki's friend Boody. Boody, yeah?
قلت ليه بورنا يا اساتذه.
Cameraman Johnny.
Props to Johnny, the
Props to
cameraman.
Johnny. He's actually been sitting here for about 35 minutes.
More, an hour.
An hour and a half actually. Been looking at us while we're talking, and he's sitting there. I don't know what to describe. I don't know how to describe this situation. Like, it's hard, but we must show our appreciation to our cameraman. We wanted to continue with one last question to end our podcast today. It was an honor having you guys today.
Truly,
I'm massively,
pleasure.
I'm
Pleasure's
massively
mine.
pleasure to meet you guys and honored. And I had an amazing time and fun time with you guys. But the question that I wanted to ask you at the end of the podcast: describe Khabib in one word.
Let's start by you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to describe him by one word only, I think it's the only word that can describe him fully. It's to the point. He is the GOAT.
Simply the GOAT.
greatest of all time.
Sad man.
Say
If you're talking about me, I believe that he's a warrior. Like, nothing can describe him more than a warrior and a goat. What do you think?
In my opinion, I think he's notorious.
But that's McGregor's line, man. Don't steal it. McGregor is notorious, but
Nah.
but Khabib's also notorious.
Khabib is
There-
different.
he-
What
no,
you want?
I
He could
don't
take
think-
he could take
I
the
mean,
title.
He
Yeah,
took
you're
titles,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He took many titles.
True.
What
And
do you think?
what's your word?
It has to come to the one word, invincible. But it also comes to another word. He is the top G.
I
It was دعاء.
I swear you're gonna get it.
قط يا ابني.
I wanted to
يا
ask.
عم.
I wanted to ask our cameraman.
What do you think?
Top
Describe him in one word. One word that will actually go into people's heart and will make a massive impact on them. Even if it's small or something, just tell us your opinion.
What's
your
your
word,
honest?
your word that you can describe.
Johnny.
He's very disciplined man, and he have faith on God, and the first MMA champion, Muslim.
عمي وعمي.
Yeah, he's basically
عمي
he
وعمي.
summarized exactly what we've been saying for like 20 minutes. So thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you guys for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. It was my and my co-host's pleasure to host you
Pleasure is
today.
mine.
And we hope we will be back soon on our 4a's podcast.
I think
Soon
I'm
enough,
gonna take a ring check on the next time.
Well, we've known you guys as friends for I've known you guys for more than 9 years, but I never knew that we would have such an amazing podcast with you two. It's truly an honor for me and my host.
And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
We're honored, and we hope that you've enjoyed your time while watching us rant for 40 minutes straight, talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov, the greatest of all time. And I just wanted to say at the end, thank you guys for watching again, and peace out.
Like and subscribe بقى.
ثانية ثانية.
معلش شباب، بس انا بعتذر على موضوع بودي. والله غصب عني يا صاحبي كلمني كان عايز ورق الدرس. لا مؤاخذة.